Yeah, gotcha is done. And we're gonna jump right into first impressions of Typhon. Let's freaking go. There you go. That is Typhon Ephemeros. Pretty interesting design. I think this Ascension is the one that will have that minor costume as well that they showed on stream. I think it was this, a little bit like basically like different colors and whatnot. That's usually how those small costumes go. But yeah, not bad. So, let's do our due diligence and get some levels into her, and we'll check Ascensions and whatnot. Although apparently one of her Ascensions is locked. You know, classic Pretender stuff, I guess. That is a bit unfortunate, but we should at least be able to see the gameplay fully. So we'll see as much of aesthetics as we can, so oh well. I like the face. Slight evil tone to that expression. Alright, first Ascension. Here we go. I think this has to be the one that was on the reveal, right? Because apparently one of them is locked. Yep, there you go. I think I do prefer this one. I like the red and the black. It's a nice combo. Wow, she says she's even willing to dance with the master for a song. So I'm guessing Ascension 1 and 2 are basically the same, like in personality and lines and everything. And then the locked Ascension, which probably is 3, is going to be a bit different. Yeah. Blue balls. Gotta beat the event. Wow, that is a long-ass skill name, though. Alright, FA time, and I assume this is definitely locked too, right? Yep. Thanks for the quartz, though. So let's see the 2 sprites that we do have access to. There's the second one. Her hair is kind of sharp looking, right? And then number 1. Oh, it's shorter. Also, wow, feet, huh? She's floating, right? She has a bit of a hover movement going on. And then this one is a bit more rooted to the ground. Sadly, not that much to say about the Ascensions right now. It is what it is. We'll see how the remaining Ascension and the FA will be later on. Hopefully a bit different, because I'm not gonna lie, these first 2, they're fairly similar. And while they are nice, I'm not really blown away by these 2 Ascensions yet. They're alright, I want to say. I'm kind of lukewarm so far when it comes to the aesthetics, but yeah, maybe it gets better later on. Let's see. Anyway, time to talk about the gameplay side. So, this one we should at least see fully. I mean, Ascension 3 is probably going to have its own MP animation and whatnot too, so we can't see those, but effects-wise, everything should be the same, okay? So, on a 5-star Pretender, we have 12.8k attack on base level 90, which is pretty high. In fact, is that the highest of all 5-star Pretenders? Because that is really high, actually. So that's cool for her. Now, deck-wise, we have... Triple Buster! Oh, so my choice of shirts surprisingly accurate. And please tell me the MP is red. If the MP is not red, I'll be a bit sad. MP is red. Good. So high attack and quad red. That is a promising start for some big damage numbers, okay? Now, hit counts for the cards. We have 4 on all the normal cards and 5 on extra. And her MP gain being a 0.6. Making her one arts card very strong and her 1 quick card decent as well. So the 2 gains cards will be pretty decent. And her extra also decent. Obviously, that's still only a limited amount of gains cards. But regardless, pretty good. So far, I am pretty impressed. Now, passives, we got 3 passives because I believe the 4th one is the event one. We have an MP per turn icon, so she gets MP per turn, and that's it. Let's see. How much? 5%, so another Merlin passive. Who was the one that got this recently as well? I already forgot. Frick. I think it was Metatron. So wow, they're just dishing these out now, huh? I mean, it's a strong passive. For farming, it's gonna be a, limited use, of course, because 5% is an awkward number, but for, anything that's not farming, that's just a great passive to have, so yeah, good. Now we have an MP damage icon, so self MP damage up and critical damage up. Okay. 10% each. Great. Very strong. 10% permanent crit damage and MP damage. Just very good. No conditions, no nothing. Super strong. 3rd passive. Buff removal resistance and also a demerit of debuff resistance down. Okay, so it's a trade-off. 30% buff removal resistance and 30% minus debuff resistance. I feel like it's not a good trade-off, sadly, because 30% buff removal resistance is not even close to being guaranteed. You cannot rely on that whatsoever. So this passive is kind of a whatever burger. It doesn't really do anything. But the first 2 are really good. Her anti-append is against rulers, and I believe that is a full neutral case. So yeah, sadly not a rare class, despite being neutral, so not the best append. Now let's talk MP. Oh, that's a lot of text. So let's see. So first of all, self MP MP damage up for 1 turn, scaling with overcharge. So now no ramp up, but it is before damage. Cool. Then she gains Invul Pierce for 1 turn, also before damage. Great. Cool utility. Damage to all enemies. And it is AoE. Okay, AoE damage. And what is this now? Oh, depending on the amount of certain statuses on her that scale up to 10 times, she does more damage, right? Yeah, interesting. What is that? Oh, it's debuffs. Also, the passive might not be that bad. I think it's for every debuff on her, she does more damage. I think that's what it says, right? Doesn't include unremovable debuffs, by the way. Those don't count. Yeah, so up to 10 debuffs, you do more damage. Does a burn on all enemies for 5 turns and a burn amplifier for 5 turns. Okay. Interesting. That's going to be a bit hard to work with, I assume. But maybe the skills help. Sounds a bit tricky, but we'll see the skills and whatnot. But let's see the numbers on the MP first. So it's on base overcharge, it's 10% MP damage for 1 turn, scaling up to 50. So that overcharge is like, it's okay. It's not amazing. It's okay. Like, considering it's not ramp up, it's a pretty small number on base, and it doesn't even scale super high. Some of them scale even higher than 50 on max. So the overcharge is like, okay. 10% additional damage on the MP for every debuff on her, scaling up to 100% bonus. Okay, expected. 1k damage for 5, or 1k burn for 5 turns on enemies, and a 100% amplifier for 5 turns. It doesn't, at least unless the skills help, it doesn't sound like she would be amazing for burn damage, because the burn itself would have to be higher than 1k if it's only 100% amp. They are both 5 turns, but yeah, I don't think, unless the skills will boost this, I don't think burns will be all that legit on her. We'll see though. Overall, it's an alright MP. Unless the debuff thing is easier to use, again, we'll see, but my first impression on it without seeing the other stuff first, it's an alright MP. Nothing crazy and nothing too weak. Now let's see skills next. Invul Icon. Let's go. Not bad if she has some defense as well. Yep, she gets an Invul for 2 hits, 3 turns. Gets an attack up for 3 turns and Buster up for 3 turns. Simple. 6 turn cooldown. Alright, numbers. 20% attack and 20% buster. It's also stackable on turn 3 if you're going to farm with her, right? So you get 40%. Yeah, an attack up obviously great to have on any buster farmer, assuming she can farm. And if she can't farm, I'll be amazed. So, not bad. And obviously the invul is great for bosses too. Being I like that it's 2 hits, 3 turns instead of 1 turn, because this has her offense on it too. So the flexibility makes it less awkward to use. It is simple, but it's alright. It works. 30% would have been the absolute amazing number for the buffs, or at least one of them. But both being 20, it's alright, you know? And we got an overcharge icon. Again, her own overcharge, not the spiciest thing ever. So let's see. Maybe it's AoE. Ah, targeted skill. So target ally gets overcharged for 2 steps. And then 1 time 3 turns. Okay, it's a 2 increase. And then, reduces their cooldowns by 1 and gives them 3 turns of crit damage and stars on use. Spicy. Okay, this being on a 7 turn cooldown, you probably want to use it on her then. Also, this means you can get her second skill on wave 2 on farming then, making her farming damage even higher then. Let's see some numbers. 30% crit damage for 3 turns and 15 stars. The crit damage is pretty low, I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting 50 at least, because if you use the cooldowns on her, it's still it's a 3 turn uptime and a 6 turn cooldown. I feel like they're kind of, I mean, maybe it's because her attack is so high. They're kind of chill. Like, so far, all these numbers have been on the lower side for modern SSRs. Like, the overcharge being a bit weak, the 20%ers on skill 1, this being 30% crits. It is 40% with the passive, yes, but still. They are a bit on the lower side, actually. Pretty good skill, though. I like the flexibility, but chances are you're going to use it on herself, whether you're farming or doing bosses anyway. Then we have a battery icon, and it has to be at least a 50% battery, right? Surely. Well, 30 minimum, but hopefully 50. Yeah, self-battery, and then all allies get a battery too! Oh, we have a spread battery! Oh! And then all allies get attack up as well for 3. Okay, there's another attack up. Okay, that makes sense with skill 1 then. And then all allies get a curse for 3 turns as a demerit. Okay, hey, Van Gogh's gonna like that. Although she doesn't really have synergy with Van Gogh, but yeah. Anyway, 6 turn cooldown. Ah, okay, this makes sense. It's 30 on her and 20 on allies. Yeah. So it's a 50 for her. And then 20% attack for the full party. So it is a 40% attack up then, in combination of the first skill. Okay, that makes a bit more. I feel like they could have maybe made the buster up still 30%. And it's a 5 turn cooldown if you use the cooldowns on herself. Very good. At that point, it is strong. Oh, the curse, you're right. It helps with the MP damage. That is right. But sadly, she doesn't benefit from allies having debuffs, right? It's only debuffs on herself, right? So allies getting it doesn't really help her. But her getting that one curse, that's 10% damage for the MP. So that's pretty cool. I was hoping to see a bit more maybe debuffs on herself. I believe the debuff rest down from the passive does not count, right? Yeah, because when it says unremovables ones don't count, that means passives as well, right? Anyway, let's see. You have the farming sheet, I guess. So I normally don't do this because we don't never have the numbers this early on. But let's see the numbers actually. Okay. Is this counted as 1.5x or neutral, actually? This is 1? Okay. Yeah, with Append 5, it's pretty cool. I mean, having 40% attack probably helps quite a bit. And considering her attack is also super high. And yeah, she is multi-core. That spread 20 is nice. And spread attack. She's definitely going to be multi-core. Yeah. This is only single core damage, but I feel like her best comps will be multi-core, if anything. So while her kit's kind of basic and a bit weird with the MP gimmick, I think her numbers still carry. Oh, wait, yeah, can you use her with Tonelico with giving her the cooldowns and the overcharge? I think you can, right? That's an interesting combo as well. And yeah, that's just farming talk. Farming seems to be interesting. Single core might be viable, especially if you have a good copy. And then multi-core, probably decent too. If not very good, actually. But yeah, that's just farming. Bosses could be very good. She's triple buster. Quad, if you will, with the MP. So yeah, that's going to make for some good crit synergy for supports. I think people are going to be very happy that have good copies of her. Let's take her for a spin. Let's see some animations still. Please check her Bond C effects. Oh, true. Let me see that. So the Bond CE is, she gets 30% MP damage. When normal attacking before damage, she gets 10% crit damage for 3 turns and applies a curse on herself for 3 turns, which is a 200 curse. Okay, so you can get more debuffs with the Bond C. And we don't know 100% sure if we're gonna have grand extra classes yet, but they are teasing something about it in that timeline, right? So if that ends up being the case, her Bond C will be very good on her. Also, yeah, is she chaotic evil? Yeah, she's chaotic evil. So there's Dolman synergy too. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Dude, she is actually gonna have a lot of synergies. Whoa. There's the dragon heads. It's kind of red and black and bloody. Pretty basic, honestly. But again, I have a feeling it's because Ascension 3 will be a bit more crazy with aesthetics. Although I shouldn't say that for sure because we know what happened with Bishone, for instance, right? I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a letdown. I don't know why they, made us wait for that stuff. So I'm hoping Ascension 3 will be a bit more crazy because this is kind of basic. Which drills in. Boom goes the ground. She claws. Oh, is that like a phase laser of sorts? And then the big dragon blast. I like the purple stuff. Let's do full red, because this is what you're going to be mashing when you do max damage. Let's see what max damage looks like. Ooh. Another big blast. There's another flip. She loves smashing the ground. Now let's see that MP. Again, we already saw this once on stream, but now I can fully focus on it. She does have her music, though. So is that basically Ascension 3, you think? That is different, right? That is Ascension 3 then, right? So why are they hiding it? I like the bass on that explosion, though. It reminds me a bit of like Morgan's MP, with the bass of the things dropping down. It's like boom, 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 boom. And hers is like just boom. Ooh, yeah, there's less claws this time. The last one was like a tornado. Pretty chill. I'm not super impressed, but there's some cool stuff in there. Let's hope Ascension 3 will be very cool and cracked. That's Typhon. Aesthetically, I am not super impressed. But there is room for some really, really cool stuff still because of the locked Ascension 3 and the FA. So I'm not gonna lock in my full, reaction to her aesthetics yet. But gameplay-wise, she is a bit basic with the effects. The only unique thing being the debuff thing on the MP. However, her numbers seem to be very good. And because the split battery and some split buffs, targeted skill stuffs, I think she's going to be very solid anyway. Be it on single core, if you have a good copy, multi-core with all those stuff that I just mentioned, or DPSing because she's quad buster. I don't think you're going to be that disappointed gameplay-wise, at least. I think that's my first impression of her. I think she potentially could place pretty high on a tier list. We'll have to see how people feel about her, see all the numbers, you know, potential boss encounters, etc. But I think she will be placing pretty well. So if you enjoyed this first impression, hey, you do be a solid and press the thumbs up button on this video. It really helps out. And do subscribe not to miss out on future videos. There were no buffs with the release of this event and only one on the pre-campaign. So I'm thinking there could be some buffs, for instance, on the days or weeks to come. And hey, shout out to my patrons on the screen right now, and Suit for being a big YouTube tier member supporter. And also, again, good luck if you're summoning for Typhon. May you get some good luck, and see you in the next video and episode.